Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes! Oh my goodness. Look at this. Unbelievable performance. Stop. What a tragedy. What a tragedy. Right? Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. Where is the Did I not print?
Explain what project
Okay.
please.
Right. I will be explaining that later, in not too long in the future. Okay, so we only have 3 language groups in the class at the moment. So yesterday I did French. Today I will do Brazilian Portuguese, not European Portuguese, and tomorrow I will do Spanish. Okay, right?
Mexican Spanish?
Spanish.
Excuse me?
From, there's cameras out there. We don't want to fight back.
I'm sorry, you are almost like
We got a language for you and
We don't want fights now here between all the Spanish speaking groups. Okay, there we
Yeah,
go.
that's fine.
That's it. Fight. Yes. Actually, yes, that's a good point. Maybe we should do an arm wrestle for which Spanish we want to do. Okay, Mexican or Spanish. All right. Okay. So someone asked for the language of preferences. Okay, the language of preferences. On this side of the page, I have given you functional language for preferences. Okay, I want you to quickly read through them. Is there anything there that you don't understand? Okay, so this here. Okay. Any questions?
This preference?
This is the functional language. Yes. Don't worry about that. Okay, we'll go over this. Can you read the first sentence then, the first example sentence down? Sorry, Bravo.
I'm inclined towards more collaborative approaches to problem solving.
Inclined.
Inclined.
Yeah. So I'm inclined towards. That means you have a preference. Okay, so your inclination, okay, like declination, like that. Yeah, so you're going in one direction. Sorry, just 1 second there now. Okay, good afternoon. You are our old man. Okay, right, so here you clown. Okay, so when you say you're inclined to do something, you have a preference for it. You might not always do it, but you have a preference. Next one then, Laurie.
My preference lies in literature that challenges conventional moral boundaries.
Moral
Moral.
boundaries. So again, the word that caused you problems is the word with the so moral. Okay, so my preference lies in this. Okay, so it lies in you. It seems like a strange thing where you have two boxes, and this is where your preference lies. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
The first one.
Yeah.
Always I'm inclined towards more, or I can.
No. I'm inclined towards whatever.
Yeah, but I can say I'm inclined more without the
Okay.
towards.
I'm inclined.
Or I always
No.
have to-
I'm inclined
So you have to say in what direction you're going. Okay,
I'm
I'm inclined
always-
towards, or I'm inclined.
Okay.
You can sometimes use to, okay,
Or
instead
I'm
of towards.
inclined for the.
No. Say I'm inclined to something. You don't have to use towards. You can say I'm inclined to choose this over this.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Now, remember that there are 20 of these, so it's not super important that you understand every single one of them 100%. Yes?
Just a question about.
Sorry, just 1 second now. I see something in the corner of my eye there. Right, okay, yes. What a disgrace. Okay. Yes, continue.
If I use like I'm inclined to blah blah blah, I can use again to compare both things. So just say, for example, here in the first sentence say I'm inclined towards more collaborative approach.
Oh, I saw. No. Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm inclined to choose this one, and very often you'll say over this one. Okay, there's a possibility you could do that as well. Next one then, Dr. Fernanda.
I tend to favor minimalistic design over ornate decoration.
Yeah, so get into the habit of using the word over when you're expressing preferences. This is my preference over this one. Okay, it's quite common to do that. And think tendency. I tend to choose this. I have a tendency to choose this. Right, next one then, number 4.
She has a market preference for solitude.
Solitude, yeah.
Solitude when working on creative projects.
Yeah, so the word marked in this context means highlighted. Okay, so a marked preference. There's a significant preference for this over the other thing. Okay, so she really prefers it. Next one then. Fabiola, number 5.
I learn more.
No. Read that word again.
Lean. I lean more towards.
Yeah, what does lean mean? You should learn that. Lean. Okay, can you lean forward in your chair? Everyone, lean forward in your chair. Yes, very good. Lean forward in your chair. Okay. Lean forward in your chair. Now lean back.
Okay.
Lean. Okay, so stand up, all of you.
Oh my God.
Okay, Roberto, over there for a second. Okay, up as well. Can you lean on your partner? Lean. No, it's the wrong. You've got the wrong partner there. Look, together forever. Lean on your partner. Lean on your partner. Lean on your partner. Yes, very good. Now sit back down in the seat beside your partner. Okay, in the seat beside your partner. Sit back down. Yeah. Can you lean up now? You, and you lean over your partner. Yes, very. No, you. Okay. Monica is going to get very suspicious. Okay, now, could you tell me what lean means? Yeah, there's an inclination. So, what usually means is you've changed the position of your spine. So, someone will say, oh, don't lean out the window. Okay, so for example, you know when the parents are driving the car, they say, kids, don't lean out the window. A truck is going to knock off your head, etc., which has never ever happened in the history of the world. Okay, so lean means change. And when you say lean on me, it's like give me support, metaphorically. Okay, next one then. So when you lean more towards something, you have a preference, you're going this way instead. Vicente, number 6. Can you read the sentence at the bottom?
I choose X over Y.
No, the below. So I choose spicy food. Just below the example.
These days I lean more toward independence.
No. Number 6 again, but under.
Sorry. I choose spicy food over bland dishes any day.
Yes. Okay. I choose something over something any day. So bland means what, by the way? You can describe Irish food as bland. What's it mean?
Smashed potatoes.
Yeah, but what's it?
It's bland, you know.
You take that back. You absolutely. That's great. Okay. What does bland mean? Anyone? It means with no taste or very little taste. It's not spicy. I love the way you say it. Immediately you say Irish food. It's unbelievable. Okay. Next one then, Luis. Oh, and if you say, oh, the person is very bland, it means they're boring, they're not very interesting, etc. Okay. Next one then.
Jazz is far more to my taste than the techno music.
Yeah, if something is far more to your taste, you prefer it way more than the other. So it's far more to my taste. Next one.
You can use clothes? No. The opposite?
No. Far more to my taste. Okay, so you're being here again. It's emphatic and strong preference.
Okay.
Next one then.
I've always had a soft spot for black and white photography.
Yeah, when you use the expression to have a soft spot for, it means that you like, and you can use it for people as well, but it's not romantic. So, for example, if you said, "Oh, my grandparents had a soft spot for one grandchild," you know, they have a favorite. Okay, so that's and the teacher might have a soft spot for a student or whatever, etc. Especially the student who is most corrupt. Okay, you understand that? Okay.
Gladly.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah, shall we? Oh, yes. Well, I didn't get a holiday out of that. That was a disgrace. Okay. For those of you who don't know who Carla is, Carla was an Italian student we had who worked in a very, very fancy 5-star hotel, and we were all trying to get a good trip out of that. Can you remember the hotel? What was the name of the hotel? Right, I'll show you the bloody hotel. Okay, Carla, this is for you. Okay, right. Okay.
Everyone wants
Yes.
to know.
Amalfi Coast Hotel. Where was this fancy hotel? No, it was a really fancy hotel. Where was it? What was the name of it? God damn it. Can you remember? 5-star. We'll go with 5-star.
I tried to.
Okay. Where was it? Was it that one? Was it one of these?
It was.
I can't remember which one it was. This is sickening. I'll find it later. I promise. Okay, right. Well, anyway, I didn't get the holiday. Right, next then, please, Rambo.
I'd much sooner stay than endure another awkward network event.
Yeah, I'd much sooner do something than do something. Another thing. Okay, so I'd much sooner go to the Amalfi Coast than to Wicklow, for example. Okay, so I'd much sooner do something than do another thing. Next one then, Laurie.
Modernist architecture, really that it's for me.
Say modernist.
Modernist.
Modern.
Modernist.
Modernist architecture really does it for me. So this is very informal. If something does it for you, or they, like for example, someone does it for you, it means that it gives you like real enjoyment or pleasure or whatever. Okay? So if you said, I don't know, who does it for you? Who? Who does it for you? You don't know? Sylvester Stallone. Okay, Sylvester Stallone. He really does it for you. Okay? Next one then, Dr. Fernanda.
If I had to choose, I'd go with quality over quantity.
Yes. Okay, if I had to choose, if you forced me to choose, I'd go, I would choose this. So I go with blah blah blah. Just think of a person. I'd go with him or I'd go with her. Okay? Next. Where are we now? Number 12 and Roberto.
Lately, I find myself gravitating towards short form podcast.
Yes. Okay, so stand up please, Roberto and Dr. Fernanda. So imagine Roberto had to choose between two people to come back over here. He had to choose between two people to go on a date with, for example. Who would you gravitate towards? Me or Dr. Fernanda? Exactly. Okay, this is the gravitational pull here. I gravitate towards blah 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 over Andrew. Okay, next one then, Fabiola, number 13.
Given the choice, I opt for remote working.
Yes, okay, given the choice. If you were given the ability to choose, you would choose this option. Okay, so opt is the verb form of option. Okay, so you'd select this. Okay, so you'd opt for, I don't know, pizza, for example. Next one. Jeez, you're not getting sick of pizza now at this point. Next, yeah, I'd say so. Okay, next one then, Vicente.
There is something to be said for simplicity in communication.
Yeah, there's something to be said for. So you're saying, well, I think, we should say there's something good about this. I'm going to say something for this, not against it. Okay? So I'm going to say, well, there's something to be said for going to that restaurant tonight, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I should say as well, that's Owen back again. Okay, Owen, yes, that's his normal voice. He's not actually shouting. Okay?
It's a visit or...
No, he's teaching.
Yeah.
Okay, next, yes, so look at you, that's where you will be going next. Okay? Next. Luis, yeah, Luis, we're following, you're together forever here.
What's the number? 14? Okay.
No, 15. Don't listen to Dr. Yeah, oh, forgive me. Dr. Victor Casada is trying to sabotage you. Okay, right.
I'd be more comfortable with a slower rollout.
A slower what?
Rollout.
Yes, we'll be coming back to that later.
Rollout.
Yes.
Then hushed lounge.
A what? Launch?
Lounge.
No, the word before
Rushed.
launch. A rushed.
Rushed.
Rushed. Exactly.
Rushed.
A hushed. What's a launch? Rushed means what? Rushed means it's done very fast. No. To rush means to run very fast or to move very quickly. If you say hush, it means. So what would you prefer if you were an owner of a company? Would you prefer when they launch the product that, shh, don't tell anyone? Okay, probably not. Okay, so you don't want a hush launch or a rushed one. So in this case, I'd be more comfortable with this. I would prefer this. Next one then, Dr. Victor Quesada.
Okay, colloquial expressive preference. I'm all about meaningful conversation.
Yeah, so I'm all about this. This is what I'm about. Okay, I like to do these kind of things. I'm all about going on trips to many different countries with no plans. Okay, I'm all about that. Okay, I'm all about grammar. Okay, or all about Brazilian pronunciation today. Okay, next.
Weekend hikes are totally my thing.
Yeah, so you really like this, okay? It's totally my thing. Sleeping is totally this man's thing over here, okay? When they, yeah, exactly. Okay. Next. Laurie.
Can't stand fiction. Give me a solid geography any day.
Yes, okay, so what does I can't stand mean? You should learn this if you don't know. Yeah, but in English you can't use the word support. So you can only say I can't stand or I can't bear. Okay, so it means I can't tolerate. Okay, so in your languages you would say I can't support this, but in English you cannot say that. You would say I can't stand or I can't bear, this word here, which you do know.
I can
Bear, the past participle. Look, that's the most passion she's shown in weeks. Okay, I can't stand this class. Okay, I can't. What's another way of saying that? I can't bear this class. Now, this verb, it sounds like the animal. The past participle, you know. What's the past participle of that? Okay. Do you understand this word? Wear is what? Wear clothes. What's the past simple of wear? Wore. What's the past participle? Worn. What's the past simple of bear? What's the past participle? Born. So when you say I was born in blah blah blah, you're using the past participle of that verb. Okay? Thank you for the fake enthusiasm over there. Okay, wonderful work. Okay, next one then. Okay, I can't remember who is next. Okay, Dr. Fernando.
I'm partial to a glass of red wine in the evening.
Okay, I'm partial.
I'm partial.
No, it's not that. It's just the depression over here. I was just wondering if Roberto is okay. So I'm partial to means I quite like doing this. It's not really I really love doing this. I quite like doing it. So if somebody says I'm partial to a red wine in the evening, you quite like doing it. And then the last one then, Roberto.
That apartment ticks all the boxes for me. Location, style, and price.
Yes, so if something ticks all the boxes. Oops. So, exactly. Okay, tick all the boxes. Exactly. So, for example, Monica. Just the one box. Yes, exactly. Okay, she ticks all the boxes. And what do you do for her? Okay, absolutely, exactly. Okay, so these expressions are quite common when you're trying to express your preferences. I don't expect you to use every single one of them in one day, but now, with your partner, I want you to express your preferences between these things and give your reasons why. Okay, so use one or two of those expressions when you are answering your preferences for each of them. Okay, Roberto, move your ass over there again. Okay, excellent. We're trying to give them a bit of exercise here. They don't give much exercise down in their nursing home. Okay, very good. Right? Do not write. Speak with your partner using those expressions. This is your partner, Luis. Here we go. There. Right. Okay. Yes. Very good. Off you go. Quick. Oh, by the way, just for your clarification, I found the hotel. Here is the hotel. Wow. Look at that. That is where Carla, one of my old students, works. It's in the Amalfi Coast. And it costs thousands to stay a night. One night. Thousands of euros. Oh.
But this hotel is for his family or?
No. She works in the hotel, but they only work for part of the year. Look at it, it's beautiful. And she stays in the hotel residences. Oh, yeah, unbelievable. I think it's a 3-star Michelin restaurant. Anyway, keep going. Okay. Hello, Carla.
If I had to choose, I would go with coffee. Coffee. It's a bit
Is your mind more?
instead of saying that, instead of
Working more office. Because I'm boring. You don't need to. You don't need so much because you can see the people, all of the people in the office. Give you the choice to for if you have your bed and you shop for you. You don't need anything more. Yes, I know. Working. Working.
non-fiction movies are realistic. That is for me, so good for me. That's I do this for
This card working because I can.
non-fiction movies are good for you.
My words and I think these days pro music that in my mom because right in my mom all movies and I
like it for sure.
relax because maybe I do stress in the office not I play my coffee go to the
So, casting dogs.
in fact, I work actually with the pandemic COVID. I tried something from home. On office. Yes, I know all the answer. Okay.
No, when you're doing your practice, I want you to use that language. Making your practice. It's very good, so maybe it's easy. Go ahead. Very good. Only this group, only this group. Excellent. Keep going. I never trust this group. I never trust that group.
My thing, last year,
Spontaneous. I know that sometimes you just have to go like that to the old man. Okay, you might look like this. He's narcolepsy.
and choose
But I know
it's only for now. Okay, this is the
I like to make solo travel as well. Sometimes, like, because when you make a solo travel, it's good because you know what you want to do.
last
And
but I think that this is spontaneous
just our speeds not here and other stuff is okay. This is relax, a little bit more, it's okay. But live forever, it's too much. It's too much.
I don't travel. Not like solo travel.
Oh my god! Did you see the last one?
Oh my god, you want to oh my god. You are traveling.
Because that. Because that. She
know that.
the last one.
Did you know all this?
No.
Only your
This takes songs. What happened here? Story one.
31?
What happened here?
I'm all about.
You're all about that, are you? Really? Oh, we'll see.
I love
Have you finished?
No.
Oh,
because I think I have more influence just this why it's more it's cheaper than traveling and organized tour. And yes, I like to organize my time table when I travel. This view of this when you travel you need to respect the other decision people. Usually I travel
more comfortable with text. I sometimes book other case and it's called easily playing.
And I prefer the same way also.
It's all our routine. Use texting. Our routine. Yeah. Always.
I enjoy it that means, but in South America, it's
Yeah. Coffee without working my distance, but good information.
I tend to favor forever or coffee. Obviously, please,
Please.
I need to leverage gaps. Why?
Yeah, that's true.
I lean more towards different reason that maybe because it's easy and I think we can save for to see where my mobile phone you can program it because in November you can check I think that the moment the pamphlet learners back some years ago.
Finish? 2 minutes. Freezing again.
I always
First thing, the guest, was want to go to a place. Yes, always. Most of the time, yes. No, but we are doing it. The time here is more
I don't have more age for I know you prefer
Finish?
everybody.
Of course not.
Okay, stop. Right.
100.
There are no, can you count? Can you count? What's the number at the bottom say? 31. 31, you're disgrace. Okay, now I'm going to give you another set of preferences, and you have to answer which one you prefer using this language. Roberto,
Yes.
first one. Skinny dipping or karaoke in public? Skinny dipping or karaoke in public? What's skinny dipping? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Oh, it seems that Laurie seems to know all about this. So it means taking off all your clothes and jumping into the sea or the river, etc., for a swim. Okay? So completely naked swimming or karaoke in public. Which would you prefer now?
It's easy.
Yes. Now use this language.
I tend to favor skinny dipping over karaoke.
Oh, an interesting choice there. An interesting choice. Why? Why, Roberto?
I don't have voice to.
You don't have a voice, but you have the
No,
essentials.
no.
You have the essentials. Very good. Next one then, Fabiola. Living with your ex or living with your in-laws?
What is in
Who are your in-laws? Your in-laws are your mother-in-law, your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law, your father-in-law, etc. So your partner's family. So living with your ex or living with your in-laws?
I'm partial to living with my ex.
Ooh! Oh, and where's he from? France. Okay, very good, very, very nice. Next one then, Vicente. Accidental I love you text. So you text I love you. Or you send a risque photo to the family group chat. Okay? So a risque, like a little bit, maybe you might show a little skin, for example. Maybe like this. Vicente naked like this going like this, to the family group chat. Now which one again? So the risque photo or the I love you text. Okay?
If I had to choose, I'd go with the accidental love message.
Oh yes, I hope so. I hope so. Next one then, Luis. Where is it? Where is it? A romantic candlelit dinner, candlelit dinner, or a takeaway in bed.
Okay. If I had to choose, I'd go with takeaway bed. Yeah, because after the eat.
Yes.
After
After you eat,
eating.
you can floss.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Always.
Of course. Yes, very good. Next one then, Dr. Victor Quesada. Would you prefer dating someone who talks during movies or someone who eats very loudly? So they talk incessantly during the movie. So every time you go to the cinema, they're blah, 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 blah. Oh, look at this. Or someone who, when they have food, they go. So, which would you prefer?
Given the choice, I'd opt for the first option, maybe because I'm a little impatient, no?
You're a little impatient, And I suppose you could turn off the television or not go to the cinema. Okay, next one then, Rambo. Would you prefer a partner who is always, and I mean always late, or a partner who is always
Sleep.
always correcting your grammar? They always correct your grammar. Or they are always late. Which one would you prefer?
If I had to choose, I'll go with always late.
Why?
Sometimes I'm late too, so.
All right, I suppose you will. Very good. Excellent. Okay, next one then, Laurie. Where is it now? Would you prefer to go on dates with someone who is stunning? What's stunning mean again? Extreme. No. In this case, it means extremely attractive. They're very, very, very attractive. Like gorgeous. You think, oh my God. But they have a very bland personality. What's bland mean again? Boring. They have no Irish people.
Irish food.
Oh, Irish food. Okay, what a disgrace. Okay, so stunningly beautiful and no personality, or extremely nice, very funny, very intelligent, but absolutely horrible looking. Which would you go for?
My preference is in the second. I prefer someone with a great personality.
Oh dear. The only answer that correct
Who is
answer
the
is
rich one?
who is the richest? Who's the richest? That's all you need to answer. And Dr. Fernanda, who would you prefer? A partner who talks dirty. Do you understand talk dirty? That's like the sex language. Who talks dirty in a baby voice. in a baby voice. Or someone who meows during sex. Yeah, this is what ChatGPT has produced. Okay. Well, which one do you go for? And you have to choose one. Use that language.
I tend to favor meow.
What? Oh my God, man, actually, yes, to be honest, I'd have to go with that as well. You couldn't take someone seriously if they're... You go for the baby voice. Okay, up and in. Okay, so I'll give you one more go then. Okay, so again, try to use the language that I gave you. The next one then, Roberto, would you prefer sexting or love letters? Sexting or love letters? I think because he's delaying, we already know the answer. Okay, off you go. I would choose.
I choose.
Yeah, or I'd choose, yeah.
Love letters.
Love letters, okay? Love letters. Now remember, it's a preference. So I prefer, or I would choose love letters. What's the word you want to use? Over sexting. Sexting, exactly. Okay, I'm not sure I believe you, but okay. Okay.
It's for kids, your...
Okay, yes, for my baby nephew, yes. Okay, Fabiola, would you prefer a partner who overshares on Instagram? So what's overshare mean?
Share everything.
They share everything. Or someone who refuses to post anything. They never post.
If I have to choose, I go with the one that refuses to post.
Refuses to post. Okay, yeah, that's me basically. Okay, next one then, Vicente. Would you prefer to walk in on your flatmate, or your flatmate to walk in on you. You understand that? Okay, so when you are, your flatmate walks in, or your flatmate is, and you walk into the room. This has actually, unfortunately, happened to me once in the past with one of my students. Oh, yes. Okay, it was very embarrassing. Yes, in Russia, not here. Okay, yes.
Of course, I prefer me into the flat.
Me walking in on someone. So the expression is to walk in on someone. Okay, you walk in on. So the walk in on means that you surprise the other person, or you find the person. Oh my God! So for example, if you walk in on a murder, you're walking in and then you see the murder happening. Okay, so that's walking in on. The next one then.
Oh, cannot think.
I can't believe this is so. Okay, Luis, would you prefer a spontaneous trip to Paris?
What?
A spontaneous trip to Paris,
Okay.
or a spontaneous trip to a swingers retreat? Okay, what's a swinger?
Swing is a lot of people make.
Yes, exactly. So a swing.
I'm shy.
A swing. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay. So the swingers retreat is the place where they do all this. So which would you prefer there? Have you been to Paris?
No.
No, you haven't been to Paris.
The first option is totally my thing. The first option.
Okay.
Spontaneous trip.
Okay. Not a spontaneous strip, but a spontaneous trip. Which would you prefer then, Louise? A spontaneous trip to Wicklow, or a spontaneous trip to a swingers retreat?
The first one.
It's Wicklow now. It's not Paris.
Yeah.
No, it's a little bit. I'm not sure.
Wicklow. Yeah.
Okay, but you prefer Wicklow. Very good. Okay. Next one then, Dr. Victor Casada. Accidentally liking your ex's post from 10 years ago. Okay, so you accidentally pressed I like on your
I love
ex.
you.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
You pressed I like accidentally on your ex's post from 10 years ago. Maybe they're in their swimming costume or whatever. Or your ex liking your father's selfie. Okay, like with a love heart. Which would you prefer? Your father in his swimming costume. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think I tend to favor to the first option. I think it's
The first option.
It's a little less embarrassment.
Which would you prefer? Wait. Which question should we ask? Okay, wait now. If you had to choose between skinny dipping and karaoke, which would you choose? Do you know?
Skinny dipping.
Yes,
What is it, a skinny
Roberto
dipping?
likes skinny dipping. And yes, Laurie also knows. It's taking off your clothes and going for a swim. So would you prefer skinny dipping or singing in public karaoke?
Skinny dipping.
It's amazing, isn't it? You can join the club. Excellent. Yes, very good.
A feeling of freedom.
Yeah.
The feeling of freedom. Okay, excellent, beautiful.
I didn't know about this word. And so guys, this Friday we are going to play hurling with Coco, the teacher. So it's for free in Fairview Park. The appointment is at the reception, 2:00 with Coco. You don't need to bring with you anything. We have all the instruments. Can I say instruments or equipment? If you would like to join, just sign up. And I would like to ask to Roberto a couple of
I know what you want.
signatures.
I know what you want to ask, Roberto.
No,
When are we going for a swim? When are we going for a swim? Yes, very excellent. Okay, right. Who is next? Who is next? Yes, Rambo. Okay, so 1 second. Now, again, use the language. Would you prefer a kiss in the rain or a kiss during a fire alarm with someone extremely gorgeous?
In the
So-
rain, it's so romantic.
Yes, but you get with the kiss, with the fire alarm, the person is a supermodel. Like they're extremely handsome, like unbelievable. So kiss in the rain with your partner, or a kiss during a fire alarm with someone absolutely amazing. So which would you prefer?
Given the choice,
Yes.
I would opt for kissing on the fire.
Yes, of course, during the fire alarm, kissing during the fire alarm. Next one then. Yes, of course she's going to go with that. Okay, next one then. Ciao, ciao, Valentina. What a disgrace. Okay, next one then, Laurie. Your first kiss in the cinema or your first kiss in an elevator? In the elevator.
Left. Yeah.
If I had to choose, I go with for the kiss in the cinema.
Why?
Because it's more romantic, maybe?
During a Sylvester Stallone movie. Okay.
The movie.
Yeah, you go. Of course. And finally, I don't know if I should ask this, but I'll ask it anyway. Dr. Fernanda,
Yeah.
finding your dates OnlyFans account. Okay, so they have OnlyFans. They're on OnlyFans. Okay, you understand that? Or they find yours.
Oh my God.
Okay, so it's the Dr. Fernanda OnlyFans account. So which would you prefer? Jesus. I should never ask ChatGPT for any more of these.
I have a soft spot for finding his account on.
Now, it would be a bit strange to say, oh, I have a soft spot for finding. So when you say you have a soft spot, usually you'd say for a person in this case. So you'd say, I have a soft spot for him or her, etc. Okay? So it'd be more common. So try another one.
I'd choose finding his account on OnlyFans over mine account.
Exactly, very good. Thank goodness. Okay, right, okay, so that was tragic. Okay, right, okay. So I'm going to go over two Brazilian audios, but before we do so, I would like you to look at the board. Yes, that's basically one of the sounds, yes. Okay, so if you look at the board, then European Portuguese is not the same as Brazilian Portuguese in some key ways. So I'm only focusing on Brazilian Portuguese because I have only ever had one Portuguese student from Portugal. Maybe two, I can't remember. I think there's only one. Okay, so again, I don't want you to think, oh my goodness, this is only for Brazilian Portuguese speakers and I can learn nothing from this. I want you to be able to identify your mistakes and to help the others identify theirs. So for example, Laurie, yesterday, she was listening to me going, okay, now this is a mistake that French speakers make and this is a French mistake. And then before the class today, she said, oh, I went back and listened to it. And she identified mistakes that she thought, oh, I don't really do that. Yes, it was a bit of a surprise to you. I want you to be able to identify errors yourselves and for other people. Teachers doing it is less effective. Now I can do it, I can show you the first time, but I really want you to start looking at the mistakes or trying to identify the mistakes you make personally or that other people make that are at your level, the classmates, I should say. Okay, so even though this is not relevant for all of you, it is relevant for you to correct other people. So yesterday, can you remember what was the major problem for Laurie yesterday? What was the major problem with her pronunciation?
The last consonant.
The last consonant disappearing sometimes with the plurals, for example, and the R. Okay, so you really, any words that contain R, very often French speakers are going to put their tongue in the wrong position, and that will cause comprehensibility problems. Okay, so it wasn't so bad, but the vowel sounds were problematic. Okay, a lot of vowel sounds were problematic. Okay, so now, first thing about, now this will probably take about 10, maybe 15 minutes, okay? So just to warn you in advance, don't look so depressed, okay? Don't, look at this group down here. Look at them, look at that, okay? Look at that. What do we want in this class, Roberto? Fake enthusiasm, exactly. Okay? Now, okay, so it's basically the main focus here is for the three Brazilians in the class. Okay, so the first thing that you should notice about Brazilian Portuguese, and Portuguese in general, is that there are a lot of nasal vowels. Okay, so French has nasal vowels, English doesn't really. Okay, so for example, if I asked Laurie to say, what is the French word for that? Right, so you speak French as well. What is the French word for that? It's close. Okay, again. Do it. Oh, so, okay, like this. This is in the nose. Now, Portuguese has a lot more nasal vowels. English does not have this. And Portuguese speakers, Brazilian Portuguese speakers especially, will start using nasal vowels in places where it should not be. So, for example, what is a very large city in Brazil that has a nasal vowel in the first part?
This is in São Paulo. São.
Okay? So, if I said it in English, it would be Sao Paulo. That is not in the nose. Okay? Now listen again.
São.
Oh, like this. Okay? Alright? Very often, Portuguese speakers will try to put vowels in between consonants to make it easier to pronounce. Because Brazilian Portuguese does not have as many consonants going together as English. French doesn't really have that problem. Okay? Spanish does. Tomorrow you will see that Spanish will want to put vowels in between consonants. Okay? And then it is syllable timed. Mostly, okay? It's not like English. It is like Spanish. Okay, so Brazilian Portuguese, to the best of my knowledge, is syllable timed, and European Portuguese is more stress timed. Now, what does that mean? Okay, so it means that you don't like to weaken syllables. Okay, so if I said, for example, round, you want to say round and not around. Okay, you don't want to weaken the syllable. So in English, some syllables are weakened, they're not very strong. If you keep all the syllables the same, okay, the same strength, you sound a little robotic in English. Okay, it doesn't sound natural. Now you are going to all practice your intonation after I finish this activity, etc. Okay? Another type of language type would be Mora time. So Japanese and maybe Slovak are Mora time. So that means that vowels like this take the same time to say as consonant vowels. Ka, ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, I, u, e, o. So you take the same amount of time to say a vowel as you would a consonant in a vowel. And that gives you a different kind of rhythm in the sentence. Japanese does not sound like English. And this is one of the reasons why. So if you do not de-stress, if you don't weaken syllables in English, you'll sound very unnatural, okay? Or very non-native like. Okay, now these are the vowel sound problems. You will see that Spanish tomorrow will have many of these problems as well. And French also had this problem. So this is E, leave, live. So as I said before, what happens is, you up here, you are the mouth. Like that, no. Do the exact same thing as me. The exact same thing as me. Okay, so this is the mouth. So Castleforms, we have all the best equipment here. Look at the technology we have. Okay, so for this sound here, E, the mouth will be a little closed. Okay, a little, and my tongue will be here. Okay, for this sound E, it's going to open a little bit more, not so much, and then this tongue will, because it's connected to the bottom of the mouth, will drop and move back a little. E, 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 E. Now, so watch my mouth. Watch my mouth when I say this, and then I say this. E, 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 E. So it's very hard to see if you want to watch the video. E, 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 E. See, it's tiny, a tiny difference. Now you might get people saying, okay, smile for this one, just a little. So E, you might go E. Nobody does that. Okay, watch. I'll do it naturally. E, 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 E. So there's a tiny little bit of an expansion here. It's tiny. E, 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 E. If you want, get your fingers and in front of a mirror, okay, in front of a mirror, okay, or in front of your, yes. See if your mouth will expand past the fingers or two pens or whatever, etc. And you can go like this, whatever. E, 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 E. Don't look at me. I'm not going like this. Okay, I'm going E, 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 E. So try practice that on your own. Okay. Again, this is a longer vowel, so you get leave, live.
Leave.
Leave, live.
Leave, live. Leave, live.
Perfect. Okay. Now sometimes there's a confusion between e and a. E and a. Head and had.
Had.
Head, had.
Had. Had.
Had, had,
He, he.
had,
Had.
had,
Open your mouth more for ha.
ha, had,
Head,
had,
had.
had.
Head, hat.
Much better. Okay? This one here. So sometimes there's a problem with this elongated sound here. So you have can't and can't. Can't and can't. This word here, does anyone know what it means? It's to do with singing. So for example in French, what is the French word for sing?
Chanter.
Okay, just take out the H and you get this. Okay, so it's related to chant as well. So can't, can't, can't.
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 You be very, very careful, because if you don't do if you do what you did, you will get a bad word in English. Okay? Yes, because of another reason down here. You're going to mix up this and this. Okay, so you want to move your tongue a bit more forward. So, and open your mouth more. Can't. Can't. Now, can't. Can't. No. If you do what you're doing, I'll show you the word, what you're doing. That word is extremely offensive in many places, okay? So I'll say it anyway, I shouldn't really say it, but I'll say it, okay? So this is Can't. Can't. This is My tongue is more back. This one here, my tongue is more central. Can't. Cunt. You are somewhere in between, and it can cause embarrassing situations. So say Open your mouth more. No, not See, now if you watch Luis, when he does this, his mouth is too closed. So now watch me again. See, it's which one is more open? He doesn't want to do, it's mine is clearly more open than Luis. Okay? Yes, do it again. Now say can't. See, he closes his mouth too much, and because of that, it's somewhere in between a very embarrassing word and the word I want you to do. You watch yourself doing this and watch me doing it. Can't. Can't. Now, you see, he closed his lips very, very significantly, and because of that, you're going to get the wrong sound. It's easy to fix if you see yourself. It's the same thing. If you go back and look at yourself making these sounds, it's much easier to fix. Next one then, sometimes, Brazilian Portuguese has a bit of an issue with sounds that are very near the back and with the tongue retracted. So this one is fool, and this is full, Actually, it should be the reverse of this. So say fool, full, fool, full. Yeah, not too bad. There is another issue though with this. Okay, now this is the sound Close that for a second. Cheers. Okay, so is sometimes replaced by or So say that word. By the way, does anyone know what COT is? It's the baby bed. Okay, it's the bed for the baby. This is called a cot. Cot. Yes. Honestly, it's like a gym workout for your mouth. Okay, so cot. Don't say the word, just say caught. Make it longer. Caught. Yes. Okay, now I know you don't want to say it as long as that, but I want you to practice with the lengthening first. Next, hot. Okay, so what happened there? There was a T difference. Okay, but we'll come back to that. And then this sometimes happens. Look, lack. Yeah, you don't like opening your mouth enough. Okay? This one here, now this doesn't happen so often, and it's usually because of a spelling problem. Mud. What's mud? What is mud? You should learn that. Yeah, it's the water and the ground mixed together. So, for example, when you're walking in the park in Ireland in the winter, you will get mud on your shoes. Okay? So, mood. Yeah, no problem. Okay, now, sometimes what happens as well is some unstressed vowels become stressed. So usually when you say this word, okay, an elephant, you don't say an elephant. But some Brazilian Portuguese speakers will overstress it. So weakened words, this happens with Spanish speakers as well, you'll see this tomorrow. You will stress the a when you shouldn't. Okay, the vowel sound becomes, what happened to my voice there? Okay, the vowel sound becomes strong. So you really want an elephant. But what you will say is an elephant. Instead of saying the, very weak, the elephant, you get the, it's too much, okay? Obviously, you've heard this before. I would guess that most of you will have heard Brazilians say, instead of city, sit, coffee, cough, office, ofs, or officee. Sometimes they put 3 syllables instead of 2. This is office. Could you look any more depressed at me? Okay, I'm looking over here, and I'm just seeing. Okay, excellent. All right, got it. Okay, right. Now, yesterday I told you what a dark L was. Okay, the dark L is at the end of syllables, and it's when your tongue is in that position. This is the tip of your tongue, and it's going to bend just a little like that. Okay. So the dark L in final position is very often problematic for a Spanish speaker, or for Portuguese speakers. So in this case here you have bottle. But sometimes if you pay close attention, you'll hear Brazilians saying bote. Or you'll hear, instead of heel, you'll get hiu. Okay? Listen to how often that happens. Hiu instead of heel. Okay?
Heel.
Bottle, heel.
Okay, did you hear? You heard this? Heel. Now, yes, he sounds like he's saying this to some extent. Heel. Okay, only going like this. Okay? So this is quite common with Brazilian Portuguese speakers. So you have a problem with the dark L at the end of syllables. And if you listen to what I'm going to show you later, I want you to pay attention for the final consonant L. Okay? Next one then, this is problematic for almost all of you. When you have a P, a T, and a K at the start, you must aspirate it. So, say that for me. Everyone? Pat. Say that. Tat. Which means rubbish. Oh, that tat, rubbish. And say that for me. Cat. Okay? You don't do it, and because of this, problematic. An initial H sound, you need to be careful to pronounce it, okay? So this is not so problematic for the 3 of you. It's the same kind of problem that Laurie has and Elena has with H sounds, where it's removed. Hello instead of hello. How do you say it again? Hello. Okay? It is not what Dr. Victor Casada might say sometimes and go, hello. Okay? It is not hello, how are you, which is what Laurie might say. It is not hello, how are you, which is what Elena might say. And it is not hello, how are you, which is Dr. Victor Casada. Okay? So you have to be careful. In English it's a bit more hello. Okay? Clusters are limited. That means consonant clusters. So maybe 3 consonants together, like ST or str. It's not very common in Brazilian Portuguese to get so many consonants together. Some languages have 4, some have 5 consonant clusters together. It's very, very complicated for many of you. In fact, almost all of you. It's easier for Laurie. French has more consonant clusters than Spanish and Portuguese. And then finally, last set with consonants. So you'll see how often T and D are caused in problems, okay? And very often it's because of the position for the Portuguese speakers of the T and the D. So typically in English, if you're trying to produce a T and a D, these are the top teeth. This is a little bit of skin. This is called the alveolar ridge, and you're going to touch that. Do not touch the teeth, okay? Don't touch the teeth. In this case here, an initial or a medial T is quite strong in English, I told you that. So it is in Portuguese as well. But the D is as well in Portuguese and not so much in English. So I'm going to give you this word. Tail, tail, dale. This is not as strong as this. It's not dale. It's tail, dale.
Dale.
It's a little bit stronger.
Tail, Dale.
Dale, Dale.
Now, if you listen, Dale, Dale. He had the issue with the L sound at the end again. Dale.
Dale.
Better. Latter. What's latter mean again? I have given you this. I gave it to you in this context. The former and the latter. Can anyone remember what that means?
The first one and the last one.
Very good. Okay, the first one and the last one. You have two things mentioned in the previous sentence. So you say, Mexico and Brazil. The former is in Central America, the latter in South America. Okay? Or North America, I should say. They're always complaining about that. Okay? Yes. North America. No, I take my back, take that back. Okay? So, latter, ladder.
Latter, ladder. Latter, ladder.
Ladder, ladder.
Okay, close, close. Okay, next one then, the T and the D, and this is very, very obvious in most Portuguese speakers. If the T and the D are followed by E, E, so like leave, live, bed, then very often it becomes a ch or a j. So instead of T, team, you get team, team. It's very, very, very common, okay? Instead of a dean, you get gene, gene, okay? And it has to do with the position of the tongue, okay? You're moving your tongue into a strange position. So team,
Team,
dean,
dean. Team, dean.
team,
Dean.
sorry, dean.
Dean.
Ding. Ding. Ding.
Now, you should have heard a big problem with this, okay? And I'll tell you why in a second.
Ding.
Team D. You are creating a problem for yourself with the last sound, and I'll show you this down here. The next one, sometimes a Portuguese speaker will have a problem with these sounds, okay? They'll mix them up. So, better, bearer. So, bearer is someone who carries. It's related to the word bear, bore, born. So, if you're the bearer of bad news, you carry bad news to someone. Better, bearer. I'm sure a lot of you Spanish speakers will have problems with this, and even Nori might have a problem with this. So say better.
Better.
Bearer.
Bearer.
Very good.
Better. Bearer.
Very good.
Better. Bearer.
Bearer. Okay, so we have a bit of a problem again. Heating, hearing.
Heating, hearing.
Not too bad. Okay. Now, this is what the problem was for Luis in this word and this word. If you have a vowel with a final M or an N sound or an ing sound, very often the Portuguese speaker will nasalize that vowel and it makes it sound unnatural. So for me, this is pom. I am not going pom. This is on. Is not nasalized. Sing. I am not nasalizing this. Now you say it.
Pom.
Nice. It's hard to hear a bit there. I say that.
On.
On. Okay.
Sing.
Now that was very, very clearly a nasalized sound. Okay. So I'm going to do something that the teacher is probably advised not to do. I want you to say those and take off your glasses.
I can see.
It does. Okay. Now say those words again. Say those words again. Pom.
Pom.
Yeah. Do you hear? Okay. Let's do it again.
On. Sing.
Pom, on, sing. Okay? Now, it'll start to sound weird. Okay? Pom, on, sing.
Pom. On.
See, it doesn't sound clear to me that m, especially the first one. Pom.
Pom.
That's better. Now say on.
On.
Now say sing.
Sing.
Like that.
Pom.
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 On.
On.
Sing.
Sing.
Pom. On. Sing.
Perfect. Okay, that's perfect. It's better, pretty good, and Brazilian. Okay? 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 This is the big problem that Louise has. The girls don't really have this problem saying red, head, mixture between those. You need to work on that. Final z does not exist in Portuguese. So rise, rice.
Rise. Rice.
It's hard.
Rice. Rice.
Rise. Rice.
Rise.
Rise. Rice.
It's a bit weaker, okay? You want z. Rise.
Rise.
Z.
Rise.
No, I want you to go rise.
Rise.
Yes, better. Now say it again.
Rise. Rise. Rise.
Yes.
Rise.
No, this is rice.
Yeah,
Exactly.
rice.
Okay. Right? Okay. Nearly finished. Sorry about this. Taking longer than I expected. Okay, so this th and v, you.
Oh my.
I swear to God, it's been like this now for about 15 minutes. Oh, well, eat for God's sake. Okay? So this is not problematic. I know sometimes what I would encourage you to do is not French speakers have the same problem with this, Spanish speakers have the same problem with. Don't do that. Do an aspirated t, and you will be fine. Okay, so if you said something like that with an aspiration, so you said think, everyone will understand you. If you said sorry, not like that. Everyone understands you. Doesn't matter what dialect. Okay? So if you have a problem with th and v, just change it to t and d. Okay? Don't change it to s and z. Then you start to sound very, very unnatural. It's hard to understand. Sometimes ch and j will be changed to sh and j. So again, ch becomes sh, j becomes j. So you get chair becoming share. And you should notice some people who do that in this class. Who always does this? Changes the ch to a sh. Vicente. Okay, Vicente does this all the time. And Victor. Okay, the two of them always change this. So you'll see that there are commonalities with Spanish. And pleasure, from pleasure, get pleasure. Okay, so there's a problem with that. And then the last one. Final consonant sounds in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese especially, well, no, in Portuguese, are not common. So just like Spanish, they don't like pronouncing all of those sounds at the end. So you've already heard this gentleman over here have problems with those words. Okay? Well, this is because of the nasalization of that, but the m disappeared almost. So say that word. Again?
Party.
Yeah, so this is what happens. So because final consonants are limited in English, or in Portuguese, you'll very often get parti, parti, when they want to say part. But when they want to say party, very often they'll say parch. Okay? They'll do something back here. Okay? Does everyone understand that? Instead of cab, you might hear a Brazilian say cabi. It's very, very common. A lot of you will hear this. The usual imitation of Brazilians is YouTube, Facebooky.
Yeah.
Okay, for example. Okay.
Alright.
Yes, yeah. Oh, Facebooky, YouTube. Okay, it's these are the things that I want you to pay attention to. Now, if you're listening, if I put you in a group with a Brazilian, now the biggest mistakes that I heard here, most of them were fairly good, were this. For you, big problem. For the two of you, you still have a bit of an issue with this. There were some vowel sounds that were problematic, but not too bad, except for this one. You need to be very, very careful to open your mouth for those sounds, or you will get the wrong sound. And you need to be careful. You need to be careful, especially, and to some extent, actually all three of you need to be careful with the E sound at the end. Now, I said this, it's not only for Brazilians. I cannot go around and monitor every single person when you're having a conversation. I want you to correct each other. It's better for you. And tomorrow, the Portuguese speakers and French speakers can fall asleep while the Spanish speakers are listening. Okay, have a nice day. Sorry, not have a nice day. Have a nice break. Have a nice break.